So welcome back to the channel, and it's the end of 2024, so welcome back to the garage. And the Midget is back in the garage indeed, as we start to think about 2025 preparations. But first, maybe a bit of reflection on the journey so far. It's incredible how fast time goes. 5 years ago now, I bought this car, stripped it down to a shell with the view to building it up to a sprint car, spraying it, welding it, and starting the YouTube channel. And it's incredible just how far I think me and the car have come in that time. You know, you look at the channel now, we're topping over 4,000 subscribers. I've met some fantastic people on the road, people who've come along, shown their support, who followed the journey. So for everybody who's put questions in, who's commented, who's turned up to the sprints to say hello, a massive thank you for being a big part of my journey. Then there's the car, built to participating in Group 2 of the MG Car Club Speed Championship. So Northern Champion twice, Southern Champion in 2024. It's an incredible machine that's built to go around corners like it's on rails, and as a result has been putting in some fantastic times over the last few years. As we look then to 2025, it's difficult to know where to go, and the temptation is simply to put the car back in the shed and get it out next year and try and do it all again. But there's a problem. You see, Group 2 in the MG Car Club Speed Championship is arguably the least supported of the 4 or 5 groups. And in fact, in 2024, I was the only competitor in Group 2. Obviously, I won, which is great. But you know, part of the thrill of sprinting and hill climbing is competing against others, of course. Now, if you walk the paddock, people will say it's not competitive. People will say they're there just to have fun, but they're all lying. You see, we're all a competitive bunch. We all like to set personal bests. We all like to beat target times, and we all like to win nice glassware at the end of the year. So the reality is, we need to be able to be competitive and have something to chase, which is where my problems get confounded, because of the 20 or so events that are on the sprint and hill climb calendar. As it stands, only 9 of them have target times for Group 2. Really just as a product of historical changes to the regulations and the times getting cancelled historically as the changes were brought in line with the Motorsport UK book. But that's not a problem. Regulations are regulations. But what it means as we get to 2025 is I've only actually got 9 events with target times, of which 7 of them I've set. When it comes to the Northern and Southern Championship, I can do 7 in the south, I can only do 5 in the north, and I need 6, of course, to get a time. What that means is Group 2 is incredibly challenging going forward. So for 2025, I've got a choice. Do I either go and set some target times? Do I chase my own target times with the view to trying to get some personal bests, albeit with a fairly limited selection of courses I can do, and that relies on my calendar being free to join them up? Or do I do something different? Now, I could do different, but the problem with different is it means you go off and you're part of the Motorsport UK Group 12, as is current, and you're competing with machinery such as 1 litre Fiestas, you're in classes with minis and other high performance machinery. And the reality is, as technology's moved on, the Midget can be competitive, but it really struggles to, 1, compete with the minis, which are just absolutely awesome at most things, to be fair, and you're up against the likes of let's say the latest Fiestas, where the handling is absolutely top notch, but also the engines are putting out pretty good power as standard anyway, so they're putting in some pretty comparable times as well. So to do something else isn't really the kind of thing I want to do. So I need a plan, and here is the 2025 plan. it's quite clear that in Group 3, which is the next group up, every single circuit has got a target time for this car. That means I've got somebody to chase, it means I've got a time to chase, and it can make it a whole lot of fun yet again. So in 2025, we're going to be moving up to Group 3, which means we need to make some change. You see, Group 3 aligns itself with what is the S13 regulations, modified car class of the Motorsport Blue Book. And that allows you to do a hell of a lot more to your car in order to make it go faster, to handle better, and take a lot of the weight off it as well. So for a Midget to move from Group 2 to Group 3, there's a little bit of investment in terms of time and also getting the car set up to be competitive for those faster target times. So let me talk you through the changes that we're going to do. So let's start with the outside. Well, the big obvious change from moving from Group 2 to Group 3 is the front end of this car. I've actually fallen in love with the front of this car. The contrasting yellow with the carbon fibre wrap is something that I think absolutely looks amazing, and certainly makes it a distinctive car on the circuit. But in Group 3, all of that can go. So the steel wings can go, the front panel can go, the front end, the grille, the fiberglass bonnet, that can all come off and be replaced with the fiberglass front end, which conveniently I kept from 2 years ago. So that's quite an easy change. Next on the outside is wheels and tyres. So in Group 2, I have to run List 1A tyres. In Group 3, I can pretty much run what I want as long as it's a road legal tyre. So lots of tyres to choose from, lots of sticky rubber on the market for these cars. So we're going to be changing the tyres so we can go around corners even quicker. Next on the outside is the doors. So you're allowed to use lightweight materials for the boot lid, which I've already got, the front end, and also the doors. So it means we can take a little bit of weight out of the doors. We can change the glass for polycarbonate, so there's going to be some considerable weight savings to be had on the two doors. And inside we can strip out quite a bit of the carpet and the trim. Also that passenger seat can come out. There's probably 7 or 8 kilos there as well as tidying up the dashboard with all the gauges and the things we don't need. The good news is we don't have to start messing with the suspension, although you can do a few more things to the suspension. I'm fairly happy that I've got that absolutely nailed for as quick as I can get it. So just the addition of the tyres should make a significant difference to being able to go around the corners, I think. So what about the engine bay? Well, the rules for modified road car are actually quite lax compared to Group 2. So theoretically, I could put a 1380 race engine in an MG Midget, take it out to 1380, massive valves. I can change all the carburetors and put on something that'll allow a lot more airflow, change all the air filters. Exhaust is free as well. So there's a lot we can do to the engine. The big challenge here is going to be cost, because as you start touching engine components, the costs can build very, very quickly. But realistically, to be competitive in Group 3, the easy wins in the engine bay are going to be to put some bigger valves in the head, so we've got better airflow, change the induction system from the twin SUs to a 45 Weber, and consider the exhaust options as well. I think realistically, cost versus benefit, that's about as far as I'll take this engine. To go even bigger or to do other things, it's cost prohibitive at the moment, I would say. Plenty to do then over the winter period. Certainly going to be quite a few videos coming out of this as we make our lots of changes and adjustments to the car to get it ready for Group 3. The first event being end of March, which is likely to be Cadwell, quickly followed by one of the most popular events of the season, which is Kerbra, which is typically the first weekend in April. So there's the deadline. Best get busy. So for one final time in 2024, thanks for watching, thanks for all your support, thanks for all the questions and comments. Please keep those coming. I'll see you next year with a whole different car, version 3. See you then.